Hi, welcome. It's Dr. Paul. Today I'm touching on a rather esoteric study that was published in Biomedical Trace Element Research Journal. We're looking at something that's dear to my heart, and that is autism and its causes. I got frustrated with the medical community when, here I am, a pediatrician, and I'm having patient after patient coming in over the last decade with a child who's not developing normally, and so many, too many, develop those symptoms that get classed into the group of autism, which is, repetitive movements, maybe flapping, something like that. Lack of eye contact. These kids are just all over the place. And language delay. Oftentimes no speech at all, or extreme delay of speeches. And I'm like, what's the cause of this autism? That's what we need to figure out. Because folks, if we don't figure out the cause, we're just treating symptoms. And that's frustrating. Frustrating for us doctors, and by golly, it's sure frustrating for the parents who are struggling to get their kids well and back on track. So this study looked at 55 autistic kids and 44 controls who were not autistic but age-matched, and looked at the heavy metals that were found in their blood RBCs, where they found a much higher level of tin in the autistic kids. And then they looked at the excretion in the urine, and they found extra tin, tungsten, lead, and thallium. Thallium, that's an interesting one. So,
what's thallium?
Thallium's been banned in the United States for a long time. It was used in rodent bait for the longest time in this country. I believe it's also still present around cement factories. And it's just one of those odd heavy metals that we haven't heard much about, but it is associated with autism. It's not one of the biggies. I think not addressed in this study that should definitely be considered is aluminum. We know that there's high aluminum in certain vaccines, exceedingly high aluminum. That's other videos on that topic. And mercury. Mercury is present in silver fillings. Don't get them. Insist on getting the white ones. It's also present in the multi-dose vaccine for the flu shot. So if you are going to get a flu shot, make sure you're getting a single-dose vial. But just to touch on the other big four that are addressed in this study, let's look at lead. If you live in an old home or a part of the country where they have lead pipes, lead-based paint, homes before the 1960s, typically they were painting those homes with lead-based paint. You need to not drink that water or have a very heavy-duty filter that removes lead from the water. We're talking reverse osmosis and charcoal filtration. And don't let your kid play around the cement foundation. Water rains down lead off of the house into the dirt. Painting windowsills is the absolute biggest source of lead exposure from those old homes where kids just put everything in their mouth, right? Or they're gnawing, they're teething on windowsills. Horrible high exposures from that. Lead is a known neurotoxin associated with autism in this study. Tin, you think of tin in of course, tin cans, but the exposure to tin that's unknown to most people is tannous fluoride, which is the fluoride that's put in toothpaste, is actually a huge tin exposure. So you need to be cautious about it. Fluoride in and of itself is a toxin. It's a neurotoxin. It also in high levels will cause mottling of the teeth, weakening of the bones. So fluoride's another whole topic for a different video, but be cautious with your tin exposure. And eating out of tin cans is one obvious source, but also fluoride toothpaste. If your child is swallowing it, not a good idea.
You're telling me my kid can't brush their teeth?
Brush your teeth. Use a pea-size amount of fluoride toothpaste if you're going to use fluoride toothpaste, and make sure they're spitting it out, or just go with a non-fluoride toothpaste. Although I tend to like topical application of fluoride, it does have some protective anti-cavity benefits. I think that sums it up for today. Remember to avoid...
Go over the big four?
We've got lead, thallium, we discussed in the old rodent bait and also cement factories. Tin we've talked about. Oh, I'm sorry, tungsten, thank you. Tungsten, this is used, it's an odd heavy metal used in drill bits, saws. It's a very, very strong metal, so it's used in those instances. Welding rods, that's a huge exposure for tungsten. And it's mostly industrial applications. If it's present, you've just got to figure out where are you getting that exposure. Perhaps you live near one of these heavy industries, or one of the parents or grandparents or caregivers works in that heavy industry. Have to be careful with those clothes, maybe take them off before you drag that into the house if that might be happening. Thank you for watching. Sorry, this was kind of a tricky one, a little esoteric, but
What's esoteric mean?
esoteric means it's kind of out on the fringe, out on the edge. And
Kind of like you guys when you grew up in Africa.
well, all right.
Perfect analogy.
There you go. Just leave it to my son Noah to trip me up every time. Thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Paul.